Anyway, we're going to finish with a question that has left the nation in a state of shock. How did respected physicist Stephen Hawking turn up in the Jeffrey Epstein documents? And I don't mean that I didn't see any wheelchair ramps in the photos. A cache of court documents were released this week, and as well as commoner garden ne'er-do-wells such as Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew, the author of A Brief History of Time was mentioned in the dispatches. Francis, I remember when the Epstein Island thing was a far-right conspiracy theory. Now it's come true.
Look, I don't understand what the problem is. Look, Jeffrey Epstein invited Stephen Hawking, so he clearly believes in diversity, equity and inclusion. So that's it. Like, he invited him over and, you know, they probably installed some ramps as well. He's made it wheelchair accessible.
Wow. That's going to get him some points.
Yeah, exactly.
He believed in the exact opposite of diversity, E and I, because the reason why Jeffrey Epstein kept inviting scientists over, because he invited a lot of scientists over, he also, the uncomfortable truth, invited Al Gore over, like Taylor Swift. I was in shock when I saw the picture.
Do you think any left-wing politicians didn't go to Epstein's island?
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of left-wing politicians didn't.
Bernie Sanders didn't go.
The point is he wanted to procreate. He was looking basically into eugenics. Jeffrey Epstein seems to think that it was his genetics that needed to survive, and he was talking to all these high-level scientists about how he should populate all these women.
I think it's also important to say, in the interest of balance, which I always like to try and do, is that not everybody who went to the island was doing that. So I was working with Stephen Hawking at this time. I did a big campaign.
I thought this was going to be. I thought this was going to be. Confession,
not on the island, but actually, without being crass about it, physical capabilities, when you're saying you're engaging in orgies, it's one of the suggestions, is clearly nonsense. The Taylor Swift one, and it's interesting how many names were played around, and when we looked at the photograph, because that went around social media, it was actually a photograph. I checked this out. I do something called Fake or Fact. Andrew Ebon's Fake or Fact. It was a guy called Monty Lipman, who's CEO of Republic Records, who looks a bit like Jeffrey Epstein. The revelations. So what's happening? There's a lot of rubbish which is spoken. There were more revelations before it actually came out than actually there. So always question everything.
Yeah, because I did see something about Stephen Hawking and a predilection for small, little people doing equations on a blackboard that turned out to be shockingly fake. I couldn't believe they were fake. But surely, I mean, it's Stephen Hawking, you know, if he's on an island with underage girls, I mean, he's got the ability to bend time. So would that be a legal defence? He could, you know, create a wormhole that would suddenly transport them to being legal. Right,
that is a pilot of a show that is never going to be seen, mate. That is absolutely hideous. Do you think it's going to hurt the US election, the Democrats' chance in the US election? I don't think it is, because at the point now with Biden is so compromised when it comes to when you see him speak, when you see him deliver his words. Everybody, whether it's left or right, looks at Biden and goes, he's not fit for purpose to be president. And it doesn't matter what they say about Trump, because Trump supporters will always just be thinking, well, you're only using that in order to discredit him and stop him trying to run.
I mean, in complete agreement, yes, you can turn up to a place where many crimes have been committed and not commit a crime yourself. You can do that. However, what I would be
Is that an invitation? Where are we going?
Let's go to Hatton Garden and get some jewellery. However, I think that what I would be interested in is not just the list of names. I would be interested in who went with other people, because, you know, conspiracies, in order for them to work, you need to have these people meet up and be in the same place and do their evil plotting together.
You're so right. Can I make one other point as well? We always talk about young girls. They talk about that some of the people who are listed, their preferences were probably for young boys of the opposite sex, and that's never been mentioned.
Right, OK.